So the Buddha was pointing us back to these very ordinary things that we experience every day. Our body, feeling tones, sensations, moods of the mind, and the content of our mind. And he pointed to these as 4 establishments for sati, for presence, for mindfulness, awareness. And there's a very, very strong emphasis on the need. This is essential, really, for the path, to have sati. So I like to use the Pali word sati, and rather than mindfulness, because we've heard mindfulness a lot, and it can have a bit of a sense of me doing something. I'm being mindful. I'm being mindful of something, and that is part of it. We start there. Usually we begin actually in our lives of not being mindful, just being caught up and muddled and pushed around by things, pushed around by desires and aversions and feelings and fantasies and all of those things. And then when we start to develop mindfulness, sati, then we gain a little bit of a distance on what we're experiencing. And that's really helpful. And as we strengthen our sati, it can be quite a big distance between what we're experiencing and what is knowing the experience. So I know when I first started to meditate, people were saying, you have to know the watcher. So there's what is being seen, and then there's what is knowing. So, or you could say the knower. So then for me that became quite a strong distance between what was knowing what was going on. It was almost like I was looking from a bit of a distance up here, and then what was actually being experienced, which could be feelings and moods and thoughts and the body itself and external objects, and so the knowing became a little bit aloof actually. So that was knowing all of those things, and that was helpful because I had been so caught up. There wasn't much gap before. So for a period of time, it can be helpful to have that distance, to be able to see what's going on, because it gives a moment to reflect. So there's this process of things happen very quickly. It's like you see something, you like it, you want it, you reach out, you grasp it, you have it, you become it, and then it starts to change, and it's gone. So that happens very quickly. And when we strengthen mindfulness, it creates more of a gap. So we see it, we like it, we want it, we pause for a moment. We want it. Is it going to be helpful? Is it worth it? Or not? Or do I want to be generous with it instead of having it for myself? That gives room for some other possibilities than just following habitual desire or aversion. So that can be really helpful. That's very important, in fact. And then as we develop sati, which is an essential part of the path, at some point, and it's not, we can't do this, but at some point we don't need to be distant anymore. When it's strong enough, when the sati is strong enough, it doesn't have to be distant, it doesn't have to be aloof. It can come right into the center of things. So sati is right here with whatever's happening. And there's still that room for reflection. So this is sort of a maturing, you could say, of the quality of sati. And again, we can't do that, make it happen, but we put in the causes and conditions for that to arise. So we want to begin with paying attention in a very simple way to this body. So the Buddha points to the body as the first establishment of mindfulness. It's the most coarse of the 4. And this body is always here, it's right here all the time. And often the mind is trying to be somewhere else. I don't know about you, my mind wasn't really very happy about having to live with my body. It was wanting to be somewhere more, beautiful, more subtle, more interesting, more less bound to heavy, solid things. So the mind was always trying to be somewhere else, and then the body is always here. The body's very, very steady, very loyal, always here. Never leaves us until we die. Till our last breath, it'll always be here. And then the mind is like, no, I want to be more refined. I want to be like in the Deva realms. I want to be like, and I want to be quick. And this body is so heavy and it smells really quickly. You've got to constantly wash it, and you get nice new clothes, you put them on, and then they get dirty because they're on the body. And so the mind is kind of like a little bit averse for me to the body at one point. And then gradually I realized, body and mind, it's a lifelong relationship. You can't separate them. I mean, there are moments where the body, in meditation, where the mind goes into subtle states and there's no longer a sense of the body. And then when we come out of that meditation, here's the body again. So the body is one of those teachers that the Buddha points to in nature. The body can be constantly teaching us. And some of us have really healthy bodies, some have chronic illness, some have pain, some have feel really well and energized. And we have all these different things going on with our bodies. All of us have bodies that are aging, even if we're really young. From the moment we were conceived in our mother's womb, we've been aging. It's been going on, and it will continue until our last breath. So this body is the first object with which to establish mindfulness. And the Buddha points to, reflecting on what the body's made up of, the skin, flesh and bones of this body. And that can be an interesting exploration, to just go through, this body as skin on the outside, flesh inside, bones, skeleton, to see that aspect of this body that we think of, this is me, this is mine, and then we may be proud of it or disgusted by it or whatever. And it's just what it is. It's like skin, flesh and bones. Excuse me a sec. So the mind would like to not have to stop to blow my nose, but the body needs that. So we've got to work together, you see. And and the Buddha's also pointing to bringing mindfulness while sitting, which is part of what we're doing in our sitting meditation. Bring sati to the body while sitting. Bring sati to the body while standing. Bring sati while walking. Bring sati while laying down. So these 4 postures. The Buddha says, develop awareness, develop mindfulness, awareness, presence with the body in these 4 postures. So those are going on all the time. And we forget. So we're in our head, maybe standing in the dining hall and we're standing. But are we aware that we're standing, or are we thinking about the food or what's going on or the decor in the room? Can we just bring our attention back here to standing meditation? It's an opportunity. And then walking, we have the formal walking times, and then we have just walking from where we are to our room. Are we aware while walking? So we can be. And then laying down, when you're laying down, is it just kind of crashing out, or you lay down and your mind zones out somewhere, or can you be mindful while laying down? So this is a practice. And then the Buddha goes into more detail of while stretching, while basically every little thing we might be doing, dressing, stretching, going to the bathroom, So anything that we're doing is an opportunity to establish sati in mindfulness, awareness. So it's important, and he goes on to more practices, which we can go into later. But it's important to check in with your relationship between body and mind. Now, is there a friendly relationship there between body and mind, or is it like mine was? Is the mind trying to go somewhere nice, and the body being that annoying, frustrating, heavy thing that's always bringing me back to this, to the mundane aspects of life? So the body has great wisdom. It is part of nature, and nature is teaching the Dhamma. So if we pay attention to our body in the right way, we will learn. It will teach us the Dhamma. It'll teach us impermanence. It'll teach us the constant cycle of pleasure and gratification and change and displeasure and not liking what's happening and change. It's going on all the time. So, and also that we're not really in control of this body as to the extent that we might like to be. The body's doing what it's doing, and we can have a little bit of control over it, but really, when the body needs to go to the bathroom, there's not a lot of negotiation room there. So, just honouring the natural process that's going on here. So if we have an aversive relationship to our body, it's hard to really make use of this first establishment of mindfulness, of sati. So we might need to just begin there by having a sense of interest in, first of all, in what's going on here. And if there is aversion, if the mind is averse, what is it averse to? What is it about? Is it at odds with the basic nature of this body? In which case the mind is a little deluded. So if the basic nature of this body is a problem, there's some adjustment needed there. Or it might be that the body is holding memory and difficult stuff. It's one of the very generous acts of the body, that it'll hold things until the mind is ready to deal with it. It tucks away, difficult memories and painful things that have happened, and it'll keep it until the mind is ready. So this is a very kind thing that the body does. So sometimes we don't want to be with the body because there's things in there that we're afraid of, or that we're trying to keep away from. So again, if we develop a strength of sati, of awareness, and we can do that with mindfulness of breathing, noticing the process of the in-breath and the out-breath. That's a very neutral practice and can be very pleasant also. So we can develop a strengthening of sati with the breath, and then as the sati gets stronger, it's able to deal with whatever needs to arise. So we don't have to be afraid of things that have happened in the past that are still locked away here, because they did happen in the past, and we have survived, and we are here, and we're okay, and we're in a safe environment, safe enough. So when the sati is strong enough, those things can arise, be felt. Sometimes there might be strong emotions come with them, and then they will pass through, and then it's like liberating them, liberating these old painful patterns. And I'm not saying to dig around and try and root them up, because this is a natural process, and we need to first strengthen our awareness and use wisdom. So sometimes wisdom says, nope, don't go there. And then listen to that. That's wisdom at work. But sometimes there's something that's just waiting for our attention. It just wants to be released. So I love Ajahn Brahm's word, kindfulness. So we have mindfulness and kindfulness. So kindfulness is not cold, it's not pushy, it's kind, it's listening, it's responsive, it's attentive. So let's begin this, well, we've already begun, but let's continue this practice of being mindful while breathing in and breathing out. And I'd like to invite you to be mindful of the body breathing, not just at the tip of the nostril, I don't know, not a little bit outside the body, but just be aware of the body breathing, the experience of the body breathing in and breathing out. And so find your posture for meditation. And just take a moment to really bring body and mind together here. And I'd like to invite you to be aware of your belly, your lower belly. You can put your hand on your belly if it's helpful. And just see whether the belly is moving with the breath. See if you can invite the breath to come. Of course, the breath itself is in the lungs, but the whole body takes part in the breathing process. So when the belly's relaxed enough, the diaphragm and the belly, then you can feel a movement of the belly with the breath. So just see whether you can feel that naturally. And if not, I would just invite you to take a couple of really deep breaths to breathe right down and stretch into your belly. So as you breathe in, the belly sticks out a little bit. And as you breathe out, it naturally comes in a little bit. Maybe 3 breaths to really stretch the belly. And then just bringing your attention to the experience of the body breathing. You can stay with the belly if that's helpful. Or you can move up to the chest. And it can be that when we bring attention to something natural like this the natural rhythm of the body breathing, that we're used to controlling things, so it can be that it's hard to just be with it, to watch what's going on, to be aware of it. And we think we have to control the breath. So that can be a kind of a phase that we need to work through. Can we be aware of the breath and let go? Let go into the breath. And to have that as a question. So it might be that the answer for this meditation is no, I just can't stop controlling the breath. So then you know that. We have time. But to bring a kindly attention, kindfulness to the experience of the body breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. And if it's helpful, you can have an intention on the in-breath, just an intention of well-being, that you're breathing in well-being into your body. And as you breathe out, you can breathe out any clutter, any old stuff that's in the way, so that it can be recycled, so that nature can use that energy for other things. Breathing in a sense of well-being, an intention of well-being. And breathing out, letting go of whatever is in the way of that. And just keep practicing in this way for this meditation.